Hello, and welcome to episode 19 of Baking Bread.li. And in the previous episode, we sorted out the site map and the emoji stuff and at replies and that. Some little kind of nice additions that was nicely wrapped up in just over half an hour. And in this video, I wanted to do something similar, something succinct, something that will be useful for you maybe. Probably already seen this stuff before, but if you've not seen it, then this might be quite useful to you. And it needs to be done on the site. It's the favicon, and it really bothers me that it is just a piece of paper. And I've noticed that what happens is it also caches stuff from previous iterations. So if the site had something else on there before, then it caches it, and that happens on local installs. So when you're working locally, in fact, let's just strike it up now. If we do, we're in Bread.li here, so if we do our command to get Jekyll working, so bundle exec Jekyll serve. Get the server up and running, and then I think we go to localhost 4000. Yeah, if you look, the Jekyll hasn't started serving the files yet. There we go, auto load. You'll see that I've got a BK there, and that's from the documentation site that I've been working on at work. And that's the favicon for that, because it's using the same port number on my local server. So it's just inheriting it, and it's cached, and it bothers me. And I want to sort that out. I did a little bit of research this morning just to check whether there was a better way of doing it, maybe using one of our package managers, one of the many ones we've got installed on this site. And it doesn't seem there's any better way than what I've been doing in the past. I've made an issue on GitHub. Well, I actually made it through Waffle, and then kind of left it here. And then there was a little bit of an issue actually with Waffle, where I created the issue in here, and then if you look, there's no obvious note about like Markdown implementation. Like I can write, I know how to write Markdown, so I can just do it and assume it will work. But there was no saying like you can use it or you can't use it. Then again, the same thing is here really. It just like the Waffle like user experience just seems a little bit kind of blunt with like this small text box and stuff, whereas GitHub seems to kind of welcome you to write, and it's very focused on it. But I guess that's what the whole page is about. Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about sorting out a favicon, and this link here is the link to the answer. realfavicongenerator.net. This is one that I saw on CSS Tricks from Chris Coyer, and it is awesome. I didn't use it before. On a couple of sites, and I was doing it one by one. I was putting in all the different favicon sizes. I was doing the multiple like ICO file where you have multiple different sizes inside a .ico file, and then the browser will work out which size to use, and then it will sort it all out for you. But even that doesn't like sort every instance of it. So this site will sort it all out for you. It's not a pretty looking site, but it's really effective. And just ignore how it looks. It might bother you, but well, it shouldn't bother you. I don't know why I'm even talking about it, but this site is seriously, it just does the job. There's other ones out there that do a pretty good job, but this does everything. Does literally everything. I'm just going to take a swig of my drink. I've got tea, yeah. All right. Okay, so I've already made a favicon, and here it is. It's a bee for Bread.li. How surprising. I quickly knocked this up in Sketch. I didn't spend too long on it. I did look up some fonts. I quite like this kind of rounded style. And I do kind of like these colours, but as I've discovered, but also spoken to with friends of mine, brown, the colour brown on the internet does not come up very well. It just doesn't look that good. Like other colours, like vivid colours like blue and orange and red, and like having sharp colours seems to come up well. Whereas brown, it's very easy to fall into the muddy kind of side of it. So this was the best brown I could get. I was kind of going for bread kind of colours, so like crust and like the centre of the bread, like on a piece of just a normal piece of white bread. So yeah, we'll kind of come into the design a little bit more. Maybe use these colours as a reference on some dribble posts for Bread.li. But for the time being, at least this sorts it. At least this has something for the icon. So that's sitting up there. And what we're going to do is we're going to jump straight into this, and I am going to work out on the fly what to do with it in our Jekyll site, because I want to do it in a nice clean way, and hopefully it will be kind of a useful way to do favicons in future without like having to pick it apart and kind of squeeze stuff in and hit it with a hammer is my kind of term of phrase. Like, you kind of get something and you kind of bash it in with a hammer, when really you want to kind of place it in nicely and it will fit without the use of a hammer. So here we go. Favicon generator for real. Select your favicon picture. So you can do this, and I shall drag it into here. Open. Favicon generator. Right. So it hasn't come up with any red things on it. I think it comes up with like errors on here to say if the image is too small, and I've done mine 600 by 600 pixels. I did that because I was thinking of the 512 by 512 size of like, I think that's Retina app icon size, like for the iPad or something ridiculous. So I was making sure to like it meets at least that requirement by making it 600 pixels square. So here we go. So favicon for iOS. So this will be the bookmark icon, and it says use the original favicon as is, add margins and a plain background. So you can play around with this and like resize it, which I think is really cool. So you can, it's got a border there. Oh my goodness. It even like gets the hex code from it, so I can like click on it and then it gets the hex code out of there, and then we can scale it down or up and like fit the B, so we can have it, we could have it like kind of like a nice kind of neat little tiny size, or blow it right up. But I'm just going to leave it default size now. That's quite large, but we may come up with some clever icon to represent Bread.li in a later date, so I'm not too concerned with that. So yeah, you can put like a dedicated picture if you want something different on iOS. Favicon for Android Chrome. So it's the same kind of case really. We can add margins or not add margins. We'll leave it default. What are these options here? Android Chrome M39 introduces a manifest that helps you refine the behavior of the add to home screen icon, add to home screen link. Browser or standalone. So browser says in this mode, when the user clicks the link, Android Chrome behaves as if it was opened like any other website. standalone. This in this monochrome gives this more of a native style. So acts more like an application, which I think certain bits of metadata that you can put into your website when you add it to home screen on iOS, you can make it act like an app. So hide the address bar and all that kind of stuff. But this is a website. This isn't an application. This is a web tool. It's not even a web tool. It's just a kind of useful directory site. So we want browser. We just want it to act normal. So I guess standalone, we can have a start URL. Wow, so you could really go kind of Android app crazy. So let's stick that to browser. Dedicated picture thing again. Ooh, switcher. So what does that do? Oh, I see. So you can see what it looks like in the thing. So that's pretty cool. So add that there. We haven't got like a bit of text there to say what it's called. But we have got that there, my app. Apply slight drop shadow. No. Keep it as it is. And of course, I'm just going to call it Bread.li. Does that call it Bread.li up here? No. Huh. It's interesting how it doesn't have the icon option up there. Maybe I can add it later. Okay, so we've got theme color. Starting with Android Lollipop, you can customize the color of the taskbar in the switcher. Wonder if we can be crafty about this. So if I click in here, I can. Oh, it won't do it. 8E9. Okay. 8E9. Yeah, so we got a little bar there, so we can make it like dedicated bar to it. Not really necessary, but why not, eh? Why not? So we can do this as well. We can do this for Windows 8 tile. Typical Windows trying to do something else as well. So that's not really it's not gonna look great, is it? Maybe we should have the orange. Kind of looks a little bit more deliberate. Yeah, let's go with that. Right, so we've picked our iOS style, picked our Android Chrome style, we've picked our Windows 8 tile style. It's a lot to pick from. Now we get down to how we're going to use it, how we're going to put it into our site. So favicon generator options, so path. I will place favicon files, favicon.ico, Apple Touch icon, at the root of my website, recommended. I cannot, or I do not want to place the favicon at the root of my website. Instead, I will place them here. Now, this is obviously a recommended thing, and I know that for a fact that if you put the ICO file and indeed other favicon-like icons in the root of your directory, the browser's going to work it out. It's going to find that image just on its own accord. It will see the image file name and just go, yep, that's the one I need. I don't even have to look at the code. I've got like an obvious inclination on the fact that the icon is at the root. Even so, I still don't like that. I'm still like not a fan of it floating around in the root directory. I kind of like to be all kind of nice and tidy. So what I'm going to do is create a path. So I'm going to create assets and favicons. Yeah, favicons. Right, let's just Apple X that. Yeah, so it's in the same way. Compression. So this is quite incredible. You can see all the compression types. The compression factor is quite indistinguishable. I guess maybe it's for very intense stuff. Look at that. Like, you can even see, like, it even shows you a comparison. Let's go for the high one. We don't need to worry about the detail on this. Not at like this size anyway. Okay, so high scaling algorithm. My goodness. So these are all the kind of ways that it's going to compress the icon. So you can see it zoomed in and then at the icon size. So how do we want it to be compressing when it gets down to a certain size? I guess this is the ones where it's the other favicon sizes, like inside the small one. So this might come up on Internet Explorer 7 or something, like really tiny. Let's keep it on this Mitchell compression. App name. That's it, Bread.li. So that's what will come up under here. So we've got our path, we've got our compression, we've got our scaling algorithm, our app name, path. So let's generate. Here we go. So I'm just drinking my tea before it goes cold. Right, so that is a lot of meta code or metadata to put in the head of our site. I'm always impressed on, like, I think impressed is the right word, on how much code it requires just to put an icon in the browser, like in the tab. And these are all the different iterations of it. You would have thought, like, it would be nice in the future there would just be an SVG and it would just sit at the root of your folder, or like in a certain location it'd just be named favicon.svg, and then all the browsers and every iteration of anything would just go, this is what this is meant to look like, and then leave it. That's the end of that. But no, everybody thought of doing it a different way. So what we can do is we can download our favicon package, which is all the actual images, and we can then, so it says to extract it into the right directory, like we said, what we told it to, and then we can then copy this code into our site. So what I'm going to do is copy this. So that's copied it to our clipboard. Optional. Once your website is deployed, check your favicon. So you can kind of test it. That's going to be pretty cool. Look, that Windows 8 one's kind of gone not how expected. Although that might be a bad, like, that might be an incorrect representation. Okay, so we've copied the file. So what we should do is then create a new folder in here. So I'm going to create a new... Where am I going? New folder, there we go. And we're going to call it assets. We want this to be generated into our site, so we want assets to appear. So let's get this favicons folder, and that's going to open up nicely like that. And look at all those different icons. So these are every single icon we could possibly need. And this manifest.json I believe has something to do, oh no, browser config, that's to do with Windows application like browser configuration stuff. And then I think that JSON file is something similar. Let's have a quick gander in it. Ah, it's for Android Chrome, so that's something else. So that's like something similar. You see that? I don't think that was when I did it last time that was in there. So they're keeping this stuff really up to date with this site, which is really impressive. So let's put that into favicons. And now we need to put that copied stuff that's copied into my clipboard into our site. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new, no, not a new folder, not a new folder, Dave. We're going to create a new file, and this will be it. New HTML file. We'll paste it straight into here. So let me open that up a little bit wider, like that. So this is all our code, and I'm going to save it as favicons.html. Because we've got include power, we can include this file separately. So it's going to be favicons.html. It's going to go in the includes directory of our Jekyll site. And then what we can do is then we can go into the header file. Oh no, that's a header for something else. No, we don't need that file. We need the templates file. So we go to one of our layouts. We'll go to our default template, because at the minute all our templates are using the default because it's got this in here. And we'll use this include liquid tag to include our favicons. So we can put favicons.html. So that will include it. And then hopefully what will happen is it will suddenly work. Ta-da! You can't see that. Can I do the zoom thing? There's a way to zoom into... Oh, I haven't got it enabled. But if you could see it there, that's the favicon working. How are we doing for time? 22 minutes. So that's it working. In fact, for a moment, I just want to get this zoom factoring working so then I can zoom in. You can do smart zoom, more gestures. Oh, is it in accessibility? Where's accessibility? There he is. Mouse options. Can we, no. Nope, forget about that. Apologies. I'm just trying to find a way where I can zoom into the screen. I'm pressing all the keys now. Forget it. But we've got our favicon working in there, and it's bringing it into our file. So if we go into here, we go into index and open this up in Coda, ta-da, it's all in there, it's all going. And we'll be able to test this on different devices and whatnot. I mean, if we just did this, we took one of the larger ones, like this 180 size thing. Let's close all these files and then go to here. It's in there. It's working. So now what we need to do is cancel our process, do git status, and we've got stuff to add. So let's do git commit. No, we need to do git add. So git add includes favicon.html, and then do git commit creates favicon include file, and then we'll do git commit layouts default, and the message shall be adds favicon liquid include, and then git status, and we should have left just our assets. So git add everything. So git and then git status. This is all our new files. So git commit am adds all favicons resolves issue hash. And what was it? What number was it? 51. 51. Okay. Cancel that. Can we view this on GitHub? Like this. Then we can do git push. There. Oh, I did it again where I did resolves issue and it didn't actually close it. I need to just do resolves 51. Anyway, that is it done. So now what we can do is create a pull request. How am we doing for time? 27 minutes. So hopefully we can do pretty wicked like pull request. And what have we added? All it should be is add favicon. Adds favicon. Or favicons. And then I'll put as title entails. I keep doing that quite a lot when I do a pull request, and it's something that's just, it says it in the title. Adds favicons. And you just in the message, I could put adds this size, adds that size, blah 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 blah. When really, you know, if you're looking at this, you probably know what a favicon is, and if not, just look at what images have just been added. It's pretty self-explanatory. So create pull request. I shall assign this to myself if it lets me, and then labels, development. And that did that very quickly, that Travis build. So, that may have been due to the fact that it checked this commit here against Travis and then went, well, if that's fine, then all is well, as it says just there. So we can merge this pull request. And then if we go to Bread.li, probably hit refresh a couple of times, maybe. We have merged. Yeah, there we go. Just a bit of a delay. There it is. And then if I still got that in my thing, ba-da. It's so easy with this website, and the website is again realfavicongenerator.net, and it's got ads on there, so hopefully whoever created this is getting a little bit of revenue from this. It would be nice if there was like a processor for it or something, but it seems like more work, and it's a fairly intricate process. It's not just something that just plonks it straight in, and it's very different for different sites. You know, you're going to need, you know, like if it's an app or it's something that wants to be looks more native in the on the device. So, you know, maybe it should be like this. It's an interesting thought. Anyway, let's test it. Let's see if we meet the requirements. My favicon files are not in the root directory. So put the URL in there, check favicon. The favicon.ico is not present. What is going on there? Generate your favicon again. That can't be right. Favicon looks fine on iOS devices. It's just got loads of text in there, and it's got a blank thing in there. Do you know what? I think what's happening is it's updating on the servers, and it's slowly green lighting each of them. Yeah, look, like each time it like green lights another one. It green lights another one. So if I keep refreshing, it's gonna slowly green light them all. Look at that. We ticked them all. So there you go. Favicon done. And in half an hour. It's a small part of the site, but you know, getting it sorted like that with such like precision and, you know, hardly doing any code, it's really good. So thank goodness somebody sorted it out for us. So I hope this video was interesting to you, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.